Finally, last but not least, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, who has been trying to take off the blinders of Western civilization for years. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you kindly. It's an honor to be here, and thank you, Carl, for your flexibility today. I will keep things very short because Q&A is, of course, the most important thing here, and I'd just like to fill you in on an issue that I don't think is getting enough attention. Before I start, I am required to make the following statement. Nothing you're about to hear necessarily represents the views of the U.S. government, the Department of Defense, or any other government agency. Okay. Something happened in September last year, the likes of which I have never seen in government, not any government, not just the US government, but any government. And that is an initiative to review all counterterrorism training done in federal organizations, Department of Defense and Department of Justice. What is amazing with regards to this initiative that came from the highest levels, from the White House itself, is that it was executed in a matter of 6 weeks. Every training material that is used in US government and every trainer that trains agents and military officers to protect US citizens, every single page of every PowerPoint and every bio was read, was reviewed, was censored, and was either cleared or forbidden within 6 weeks' time. This fact needs to be understood because today we are going backwards in time in our understanding of what I call the enemy threat doctrine of the groups that we face. In any war, the first thing one does is intelligence preparation of the battle space, IPB. And one of the most important things in intelligence preparation of the battle space is to understand who the enemy is, what they wish to achieve, and how they intend to achieve it. That is enemy threat doctrine. Today, and I can speak from experience, especially in the Department of Justice, you are not allowed to discuss the enemy threat doctrine of Al-Qaeda and associated movements. Any mention of religion or the word jihad has to be excised, and in a way that is fundamentally un-American. Let me tell you how it works. The White House set up a committee of SMEs, the identities of whom were not to be disclosed. So a committee was created of anonymous individuals from government and outside of government. This committee drew up a list of guidelines for what can and cannot be said when somebody is training an FBI special agent or a member of the US Special Forces or officer from the Marine Corps, and those guidelines are ironclad. Before an individual, government or not, goes into an installation to brief somebody on who is the enemy today and what they wish to achieve, first, their name has to be cleared on a roster of trainers who are approved by the Faceless Committee or disapproved. And I can tell you that there are agents, for example, in the Federal Bureau of Investigation that have 10 years of experience hunting down Al-Qaeda operatives who have been blackballed from training their own fellow agents because they discuss the ideology of global jihadism. That was enough to ban them from speaking to their own fellow agents. If the person passes muster for some reason and remains on the roster, every time they go to speak at a government location on the terrorist threat, all their slides must be approved. And I've had my own slides looked at by somebody whose name I was not allowed to know, and not even the Bureau could find out who they were. And I was told that I am not allowed to discuss non-kinetic threats to the United States, meaning subversion. When I am talking to Federal Bureau investigators, I am not allowed to discuss non-kinetic, non-physical threats, despite the fact the FBI was created in part to stop subversion of the US Constitution. It's not about just catching bank robbers and Al Capone, it's about subverting the Constitution of this great nation. That is no longer permitted. That is now haram in CT training. And lastly, there is no appeal. Not only are you not allowed to know who demands which slide be removed and what should be censored, as an expert with, in my case, 20 years of experience in a PhD, I have no appeal process. I can't say, well, really, let's discuss this. Let's sit down and talk about it. You argue your case, I'll argue mine, and let's have a third-party arbitrator. Not permitted. As a result, today, what was stated 9 years ago in the 9/11 Commission report, quote, America must defeat an ideology, not just an organization, is no longer possible. We are not allowed to permit discussion of the ideology, and as a result, we will persist in looking at tactical measures, body bags because of predators, and other things that will not bring us victory in this war. I'd like to thank the hosts, everybody who does incredible work in this room, including Frank and others. This is an ideological war, and in the 11th year, we need to start fighting it as an ideological war. Thank you.